Hey guys, I wanted to continue my series on metabolism a little bit, just heading back from Boston, doing some workshops out there. Got some great conversations. I had even posted a video from the hotel room before I spoke at that event. And I believe that might be one of the most one or two viewed videos because I kind of chugged into metabolic damage and some of the misunderstandings that encircle that entire concept. So I want to talk about that a little bit more, but also talk about the positive sides, about metabolic recovery and what we can expect. So first of all, the assumption we have to go into is that you've lost all the weight you want to lose. And now you're going to be recovering from that dieting phase, being in a caloric deficit for quite a while, and then successfully coming out of that in a way that helps you not regain a lot of body fat. I do want to, though, talk about the antithesis of that, or where a lot of people think they're coming from in terms of a bad experience, and that is where the whole term metabolic damage comes from. You can certainly have dieted in an aggressive way, where your calories were just too low, too long. You were overdoing cardio. I remember early in my professional career, the extra pressure of being on stage with some of these legends, I was competing against people like Rob Hope and Dave Gooden and people like that. It really got to me, and I felt like, man, I just need to step up my game and do more and more and more. So I started dieting on fewer carbohydrates and doing more cardio than ever, and just drove myself into the dirt. I mean, I was looking horrible, losing muscle, losing size, not getting as lean. I could tell my metabolism was truly stalling. So you can suppress your metabolism to that point where just trying to hit another gear doesn't necessarily help you. Instead, you start looking worse. You're just losing as much amino acid content in your muscle tissue as you are body fat. So you can get that far, but it's not the cause of you regaining weight. Clearly, we talked about that in the last video. You gaining weight is because you're eating too much food, period, end of story. No biological consideration other than that. It's just a closed topic. If you're one of the 5 or so percent that have a true thyroid insufficiency, yeah, the same thing happens. It doesn't make you gain weight. It just means that if you overeat, you're going to store more of those calories as body fat. So if you're sitting in a position where you think, well, I've gained a lot of body fat back, and it's my metabolism that's broken, you have to come to grips, first of all, that that's just not true. Your metabolism still might be suppressed a little bit in need of some recovery time, but that can happen. And if you've gained some body fat back, you're going to have to lose that again, meaning now you have to start dieting again in the least attractive time metabolically, because now you're possibly suppressed metabolically. So that's something you have to kind of divide in two camps. Am I there already where I think my metabolism is kind of tanked and I need to recover? Or am I successfully reaching the end of my diet and now I'm ready to come out of this successfully? And that's what I want to talk about in this video. So a couple people call it different things. About 10, 12 years ago, I created a diet series where I broke up dieting into 5 phases. I called it the transition phase, the core phase, the metabolic building phase was number 4, and then the fine-tuning phase was number 5. There's one in the middle there that I just cannot remember. It escapes me right now. But I want to talk about metabolic building because that's where you've reached the end of your diet, and now you're ready to come back out of that. And at the time, this was intended for prepping physique athletes, and it was truly intended for pre-contest. So at the end, you're already looking your best, and now you're building up toward the show. Now, a lot of people, I think Lane was the first one to pick up on that concept, and he called it reverse dieting. So he took my metabolic building phase, called it reverse dieting, and a lot of people talk about that now. And a lot of people talk about it after the contest. And I want to assert just briefly that this is something that is part of peaking for a contest. It can be used for anybody, general population otherwise, who is just transitioning off of their diet into scaling up toward maintenance. But if you want to look your best for an event, so to speak, then you're not necessarily just diving straight down in a linear way toward your best weight and then thinking about building metabolically after that, you really want that metabolic building phase before, because that's when you start reestablishing some fullness and size and so forth. So I've had such incredible success that I would say that anybody who has never done this properly doesn't yet know how good they can look. And what reminded me of this is I was going through a PowerPoint presentation in Boston, going through photos of clients who had done it one way and then the other way, where we had enough time, maybe dieting on a little bit fewer weeks. In other words, we had less body fat to lose, so we could eat more calories, we didn't have to do as much cardio, that kind of thing. And they just ended up being ready early, and we were forced to, or had the privilege of, being able to increase calories before their event. And the side-by-side picture comparisons are nothing but phenomenal. Like I said, if you've never done that, you don't realize how much weight you can gain again, adding back muscle fullness, glycogen stores, and see your body fat levels still decrease. It's quite stunning to see somebody come up 5, 6, 7, 8 pounds and still be getting leaner. To see somebody who is on maybe 100 grams of carbs a day, eating 300 grams of carbs a day, and still getting leaner. That's an amazing feat. And if you even have to do that after you've reached the end of a contest diet, or if you're in the general population, just you've reached your best look, you want to maintain this now, the thing that I'm really wanting to emphasize is you don't have to gain a lot of unwanted body fat to regain that metabolic capacity. So there are some people out there saying, well, you have to just, dump a ton of food in there and get your metabolism back up really quickly, and the faster you can do that, the better off you are. If you do that, you will gain body fat back. So there's no question you can get there sooner. Metabolism has a huge function related to body composition. When adipose cells, body fat cells, are getting fuller, your hunger is going to go down. You have all those hormonal gastric neural loops happening that's going to help you decrease hunger and all that. No question, but you're going to sacrifice gaining body fat back. So in my pre-contest mentality, of course, that's a no-go. We're not going to go there at all. You have to maintain your body fat level or even get leaner while you're building food. So my contention would be, why would you want to do that afterwards? Why gain some unwanted body fat when you can truly stagger your metabolism back up without a lot of body fat gain? You can get your metabolic rate back up to almost off-season levels easily under 2 months, probably within 4 to 6 weeks, without having that binging kind of episode where you just start gaining body fat back. So I'll go through just a couple little scenarios with you. One of the first, I go all the way back to a client I had 15 years ago who was an ectomorph. Had a really hard time gaining muscle, and what happened was she started getting ready for a contest, and contest got canceled. She had to cancel another one because of a personal issue. So we had ended up dieting almost for 11 months, and for a girl who had a really hard time winning a pro card, it took me 2 or 3 years with her to get that pro status to begin with. Her very first pro show, because of those circumstances, ended up being the World Championships, WNBF World Championships. And because we had that much time to diet and we could segue her food back up a little bit at times, and we had that metabolic building phase locked in for that final month, she regained 7 pounds in the final month. Caliper measurements were still going down while her body comp or body weight was going up. She ended up not only winning the lightweight class, but the overall WNBF World Championship, because she just had these massive, feathering striations across her pecs and even her lats and so forth, striated glutes as a female, which is not the most important thing for her because she's an ectomorph. She can get that lean, but she had so much crazy fullness to go along with that. And it makes me think of another pro who had hired me. We had to lose 40 pounds for a show pretty quickly, so we were just kind of diving straight down. He ended up doing okay. I think he got seconds, maybe even a tiebreaker, losing to get a narrow second place. And I said, okay, now give me the full year. Let's do this again and not gain so much weight, not have to lose 40 pounds. So side-by-side pictures I show in this one particular presentation I give on peaking. And 1 year later, at the exact same body weight, he looked so much crisper, tighter, and fuller just because we had a chance to, again, ramp up his food, didn't have to diet as aggressively going in. So again, that can be done even before you hit a contest stage or your final weight. You know, you might be somebody who's lost 100 pounds, 120 pounds. You're never going to do anything as crazy as a physique contest of any sort, but you can be assured that your metabolism can recover, you can get back up to normal maintenance levels of food and not regain body fat that you don't want. So anyway, I hope that at least kind of opens up this conversation a little bit wider, brings more of that positive spin to what's possible, and we'll keep rolling, guys. So appreciate it. Love all the feedback, all the questions you guys who even private messaged me some questions. Definitely gives me some tangents to head on future videos. So thanks, guys. Appreciate it.